Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defiled. This day will the Lord deliver thee into my hand, and I will smite thee, and take thy head from thee, and I will give it to the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowl of the air, and the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. Hello, beautiful. Hello, handsome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for watching me. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the messages. Whatever God is doing is for His glory. We give Him the honor, we give Him the praise. He's worthy to be praised and adored this morning. He is a good God. He loves you and He wants the best for you. Thank you so much for watching me. I love you. Today, the word that the Lord gave me is the table is turned in your favor. If you have somebody with you, turn around and say, the table is now turned in your favor. God has changed your story. He has changed your story. He has changed your story. Those who used to mock you, now is the time. They can mock you now. They can mock you. They have mocked you enough. This is the time. This is your season. Slap somebody again and say, the table is turning in your favor. Wow. The table is turning in your favor. It is 10. Declare it. You need to say this to yourself. It is 10 in your favor. In your favor. In my favor. Say it and say it again. Let's look at this. Abraham. We all know that Abraham was called Abram. Then the Lord changed his story from Abraham to what? Abraham. Because he said, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. From childless to what? Child. And if we look at David's story, where David, I'll quote, send me your son David, who with the sheep. Imagine somebody, God saying that somebody who cares for the sheep, this is the person that I am going to make a king. God doesn't look at your background. God doesn't discriminate. When He says He's going to bless you, it doesn't matter what you have been through. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you are doing. When He says He's going to bless you, He will bless you. And Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat, and sent them by his son David to Saul. So David came to Saul and stood before him. This is how God changed David's story from a person who cares for the flocks and the sheep, and now in the palace. This is how the table can quickly change. Be careful how you treat people. The table can change at any time. And when it changes, I don't know what your enemies are going to do. And if we look at Joseph's story, the only thing Joseph did was to tell his family about the dream that he had. That was Joseph's first mistake. His father was like, am I going to buy in front of you? And your brethren, first mistake he did. Then they plotted what? Evil against him. Because how can you little come and say, we are going to buy before you? That is unacceptable. We are not going to accept that. That's how. And they knew that Joseph was loved by his what? Father. Because he made a coat of many colors for him. One of the favorites. Benjamin and Joseph, they were the favorites. And they plotted. They put him in the pit. I mean, I will say this and say this again. Know that it's not every time the Lord will deliver you from trouble. Sometimes you go through the pit because it's a process. How you are going to react in the pit, you will see how people will treat you, how you are going to react will determine your crown. He went, and later his brethren came. And I will quote again Genesis 14, verse 8 says, and Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spoke roughly unto them, and spoke roughly unto them. He knew them when they came. He noticed that this is the people who have done me wrong. Today, anybody who has done you wrong, they will come to you for help. And you will show them favor and show the same heart as Joseph showed. You will show it to them. Anybody who has mocked you before, this is the time for you to show them favor. It's not, we don't avenge. Vengeance belongs to God. If we go to Esther 7 and 9, Haman and Mordecai, imagine Haman planning, telling his wife, this is what is happening. This is what I'm going to do to the Jews. And his wife advised him to make gallons. He advised him that, do this for them. But whatever Haman planned for Mordecai and the Jews, he had it. This is in Esther 7 verse 9. It says, behold also the gallons 50 high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king. And verse 10, Esther 8 verse 10, it says, so they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath perceived. The thing that he had prepared, this is how the table can turn. It can turn us anytime. Be careful how you treat people. The table can turn at any time. It can turn at any time. This is how God changed Mordecai's story. From him going to be hanged, then it was back to sender to Haman. Any evil they have prepared, it is going back to sender. And let's look at David and Goliath. When David came, he knew who his God was. That's why I like David. Because every time when David is fighting, he always take God first. You come to me with what and what and what, but I come to you of the God of the armies of Israel, whom what you have defiled. Because David knew that the war was not for himself. The battle is the Lord. He knew who his God was, and he knew that God that delivered him from the hands of his enemies is the same God who will deliver him from Goliath. And this is the time where Goliath he came wearing all his guns for fight. From head to toe, Goliath was covered. Metal. Everywhere. Metal. Everywhere. Where David just came with a sling and what? A spear. Not even wearing a helmet. It's like when Saul said, okay, go come and get it. He said, I don't need that. I don't need those things. Because the battle is the Lord. He declared that I don't need any of those. Because it's not me who is going to fight it. And how did God just turn this? Somebody that you are fighting, that has nothing, can win. And somebody who is well prepared, who has got everything from head to toe can mind.